All right, let's talk about something that probably keeps every language teacher up at night. How do we teach grammar so that it actually sticks? Today, we're going to rethink how we plan our grammar lessons to make them way more effective.
We've all been there, right? You deliver this absolutely perfect grammar lesson. Your explanation is crystal clear, students are nodding, they get it, and then the next day, poof, it's like it never happened. It's frustrating for sure, but it's also a really important clue about how language learning actually works.
So, why is teaching grammar so darn tricky? Well, it's because there's often this massive gap between what we, the teachers, are teaching and what our students are truly ready to absorb. In this explainer, we're going to try to close that gap and give you a better framework for planning your lessons. Here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with the big picture, the grammar planning puzzle. Then, we'll bust 3 really common myths that might be holding you back. After that, we'll look at 4 different teaching approaches and wrap up with 6 super practical tips you can use tomorrow. Let's dive in.
So here's the heart of the issue. We can teach a grammar point flawlessly, but that's no guarantee our students will learn it. See, their brains have their own internal schedule for acquiring language, and our one lesson is just a single drop in a very large bucket. Understanding that mismatch is really the first step to planning better.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this puzzle, we have to challenge some of our own beliefs. Let's bust 3 common myths about teaching grammar that cause a ton of headaches for both teachers and our students. All right, myth number 1. And honestly, this is a biggie. It's an assumption that quietly drives so much of our planning, even when we kind of know it's not the whole story.
Oh, we wish this were true, don't we? Just present the past tense and bam, students use it perfectly forever. But you and I both know from experience in the classroom that it just doesn't work that way. The reality is, well, it's a lot messier.
And this slide says it all. On the left, that's our hope, a straight line from our explanation right into their brains. But on the right, that's the reality. Learning is a slow burn. The source material puts it perfectly. The learner's brain marches to the beat of its own drum. Our lesson is just one step on a very long journey.
Okay, on to myth number 2. This one is all about that endless hunt for the one single perfect method to teach grammar.
You know, a lot of us were probably trained in one specific way, maybe the classic PPP model, presentation, practice, production. And it's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking, this is it, this is the way. But searching for a silver bullet in teaching usually leads to a dead end.
And just look at this. Research actually shows that, well, pretty much everything can work. Teaching the rule up front, letting students figure it out for themselves, planning for it ahead of time, dealing with it as it comes up, they all have success stories. The key takeaway here is that there's no magic formula. It's all about what works for your learners with that topic in that moment.
All right, our third and final myth. This one kind of questions the whole pedestal we tend to put grammar on in the first place.
I mean, think about how much time we spend on grammar in class, right? It's easy to assume it has to be the most critical piece of the whole language puzzle. But is it really?
Think about it. I bet you can picture someone right now who can chat away in a second language. Their grammar isn't perfect, maybe it's a little shaky, but you understand them completely. That's because they're leaning on their vocabulary and smart communication skills to get their meaning across. It doesn't mean grammar isn't important, but it does show that being a good communicator is about so much more than just being grammatically perfect.
So, with those myths out of the way, what are we actually supposed to do? Let's break down 4 of the main ways you can structure a grammar lesson. This will help you make much more informed choices when you're planning.
Okay, let's walk through these 4 approaches. First up, you've got explicit teaching, what many of us know as PPP. The upside is it's super clear and structured. The catch? The rules can be tough to get, and it takes a ton of practice. Next, task-based learning. Here, you only deal with grammar when students need it to complete a task. It's great because it's relevant, but the limitation is you only fix the errors they make, and you miss the grammar they just avoid using. Then there's guided discovery. This is where students are like detectives, figuring out the rules from examples. It's awesome for engagement, but there's always a small risk they might figure out the wrong rule. And finally, the twin track approach, which keeps grammar drills and communication completely separate. It's a really interesting theory, but you almost never see it in textbooks.
Okay, that's the theory, but what does this mean for you on a Monday morning when you're planning your week? Let's get super practical with 6 actionable tips you can use right away.
Here we go, 6 tips for your toolkit. Number 1, explain economically. Seriously, get to the point. Don't explain every single exception, just give them what they need to start using it. 2, allocate your time wisely. We'll look at this more in a second, but it's all about more student practice time. 3. Focus on meaning first. Before you dive into the rules, make sure they understand why and when we use this grammar. 4. Surprise them. Instead of announcing the grammar point, let it pop up naturally from an activity. 5. Let the students lead. Start with a task that shows you what they can already do. And number 6, a huge one, review and recycle. Because let's be real, one lesson is never going to be enough. You've got to keep bringing it back.
Let's really dig into tip number 2 on time management. If you're doing a classic PPP lesson in, say, a 50-minute class, this is a great model to aim for. Just 5 minutes. That's only 10% of your time on your presentation. Then, about 15 minutes for controlled practice. And the biggest slice, a full 30 minutes, should be for production where students are actually using the language. It's all about flipping the script, less of you talking and way more of them doing.
So as we start to pull all this together, it really comes back to this one powerful idea. We are not programming computers here. We're guiding this amazing, complex, organic process. Our job is to give clear examples, create chances to practice, and offer good feedback. But we always have to remember that the learner's own internal system is the one in charge.
So here's the big takeaway. Stop looking for the perfect method. It doesn't exist. The real goal is to build your own personal toolkit of strategies and ideas so you can create flexible plans that actually respond to what your students need, right here, right now. It's all about being observant, being reflective, and being ready to adapt.
And that's where we'll wrap it up. I want to leave you with this final thought to take with you. Looking at everything we've covered, what is just one thing, one small change? Maybe it's shifting your time, maybe it's trying a discovery activity that you could try in your very next lesson. Thanks for watching.